Jess Dowderick, who is in Sarasota, looking at some of the damages this morning at 5:13. Jess, how's it looking out there?
Well, Jacqueline, we might not have received a Category 4 hurricane like originally expected, but the damage is still severe out here this morning. I'm not sure how well you can see it, but behind me, this large tree has uprooted. I'm just around the corner from the station. We didn't have to go far to find the damage. This is a large tree, completely uprooted. It has fallen onto Orange Street, luckily missing the home that it sits in the front yard of. Also, as we're out here, we are seeing power lines continue to spark along Orange Street, and I'm sure that's the case in many parts of the Suncoast this morning. So again, county officials are asking you guys to stay where you are for breakfast, whether that be the shelter or your home. Do not try to go back to your home if that's not where you are this morning to assess damage until first responders are able to get out here on the roads and take care of issues like these downed trees, like downed power lines. They don't want you risking your safety this morning. They know you're anxious to see, what damage was done to your property and your home, but they're just asking that you stay where you are through breakfast. So the rain, as you can see, the rain is still coming down very steadily this morning. The wind doesn't really seem to be much of an issue at this point in time. It's still a little bit breezy, but nothing too severe like we were seeing yesterday. Now, when we first pulled out of our station, there are also traffic lights that are out this morning. So obviously that will be a safety hazard if people are on the roads too early. And like meteorologist Bob Harrigan, I heard him saying just before this, wind gusts are still in the 60s and the 50 miles an hour. And just as a reminder, first responders are not out responding to these downed power lines and downed trees until those winds go down to less than 45 miles an hour. So obviously they will be out here as soon as they can, responding to these things, getting the trees out of the way, making sure the power lines are secure and safe, not sparking or hanging in the roadways. Obviously, if you see any of that, call and report it, and also just stay away from it and stay inside until first responders are able to be out here. It's safe for them to be out here and they can respond to things like that. So again, we're seeing sparking power lines this morning, large trees uprooted, and this is just a little bit of the damage. Again, we just had to go around the corner from our station to find this. I can't imagine what the rest of the Suncoast looks like this morning. So of course, anything you're willing to share with us on our Facebook page, on our Twitter page, email us. We'd love to see, what the wrath of Irma had on you and your property. Hopefully everyone is safe this morning. But again, you're just asked to have breakfast where you are this morning. If that's the shelter, stay there until first responders are able to get out here and take care of the issues that we're seeing. So power lines still down, sparking power lines, traffic lights are out, uprooted trees, branches in the middle of the roadways. So everyone stay where you are for now and stay safe. Jacqueline.
Happy to see happen. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, John. Let's go out to the 10th Street Boat Ramp. Jess Dowderick has moved over there for an update on the scene from the water's edge. Good morning, Jess.
Good morning, Ray and Jacqueline. As you can see behind me, the storm may be past, but the waves continue to crash up against the seawall here at the 10th Street Boat Ramp. Water has been flying through the air all morning. The parking lot here at the Van Wezel and at the boat ramp is starting to flood. We saw earlier before the storm how the water was being dragged back into the Gulf, and now it's the complete opposite. Water crashing along the shorelines, and you can see a bright light just across the way from where we are right now. That's actually the GMA crew. Good Morning America is going to be going live here in just a few minutes from the same boat ramp that we are at this point in time. We've been driving around the streets this morning, a lot of trees that are down. We've seen transformers blow. The power lines continue to spark, so definitely still dangerous conditions this morning. Although the storm might have passed, the remnants of it are still here. Very rough waters. You can see the water just continue to crash up over the seawall, and actually it's a lot better now than what it was a little earlier this morning. The wind has calmed down slightly. I'm sure we'll still get those major gusts of wind. Of course, the wind speed's still pretty strong this morning. Bob Harrigan was saying about 50-mile-an-hour gusts still. So, of course, first responders still not able to go out to respond to situations. There have been fire alarms that have been going off in downtown Sarasota. There have been a cross falling off a local church. Right now it's hard to keep the hat on your head, so the wind picking up, just as I say, it wasn't very strong anymore. So the gusts coming, you can see the waves continuing to crash here. So obviously stay where you are, stay in your shelter or wherever you evacuated to until first responders say it is safe to come out. There are traffic lights not working, down power lines. So stay where you are, have breakfast there, don't rush back, because of course the most important thing is your safety. Station about at this point in time, and we've seen large trees in the middle of roadways. We've seen power lines sparking. I don't know if you can hear it, if the audio is picking it up, but there's a fire alarm that consistently keeps going off somewhere here in downtown Sarasota. Not sure if the winds are calm enough yet for first responders to be responding to things like that, but I'm going to take you down the sidewalk a little bit to kind of show you some of the downed pieces of palm trees and branches and things here on Main Street. So nothing too crazy to look at this point in time, but this is just kind of a glimpse into what we're seeing across the Suncoast at this time. So a little bit ago we were on Orange, just a little south of 10th Street, where a large tree has fallen into the roadway. We did see one SPD cruiser who was driving around with his flashers on, not his flashers, his sirens. Not sure where he was going or what he was responding to. So it appears that some first responders may be out at this point in time, but maybe not all of them. So you're being asked this morning to stay in your shelter or stay wherever you went to evacuate and eat breakfast there. They're asking you to have breakfast in place so first responders can get out here in Sarasota and Manatee counties and clean up the mess that Hurricane Irma left behind. So there, again, power lines that are still sparking, downed power lines, trees in the roads. There are traffic lights that are still out at this point in time as the hurricane continues to move north and move out of our area. So just be patient. I know you guys want to get back to your homes to kind of see, what Hurricane Irma left behind, but just be a little bit patient, wait a couple of hours and let first responders get out here and clean up everything that's going wrong at this point. Jacqueline.
All right, thank you so much, Jess. We are joined now by Ray Conrick is out there with a look at what conditions are like. Jess, how's it looking out there?
Well, Jacqueline, things are slowly but surely starting to get a little worse and worse as we continue to drive around this morning. So right now I'm on Bradenton Beach. You can see the sand behind me. The waves, from what I can see, I haven't walked down to the water because obviously it's dark down there. The waves seem to be rolling in as normal, but the winds are starting to pick up here. We were out near Manatee River. Now we're here on the beach, and the winds are a little stronger here, obviously near any of the bodies of water that we've been at than they are in the inland. So I'm not sure if you can see, it's pretty calm right now. There have been gusts of wind, but you can see some of the weeds blowing in the background, and it is starting to rain. It has been raining kind of on and off for the last couple of hours. It's not very steady right now, but it's probably the steadiest it's been since we've been out, earlier this morning and late last night. We were driving along Anna Maria Island here at Bradenton Beach, and it's pretty much a ghost town. Like EMS had said earlier this evening, not very many people. I think I've seen one truck that was parked, no one on the roads. It's kind of an eerie feeling out here tonight. So again, a live look at Bradenton Beach. Obviously these beaches are closed along with everything else. When we were coming across the Cortez Bridge, I had to check in with law enforcement because they are still checking IDs as people come on and off the island. So they were asking for 2 forms of identification when people come on the island. When I asked if we could, come out here to give you guys a live look at what's going on, they told me that we could at our own risk. So people, as they leave the islands, of course, do not need to show any forms of ID. You can just leave. But if you're trying to make your way back on the island, they are asking for 2 forms of identification, one that at least has your address on it. So they're only letting people on the barrier islands who live here, obviously to protect the homes, because a lot of people have evacuated, and the valuables that they have inside. So one last live look at Bradenton Beach here. The waves still seem to be pretty calm. The wind is coming in gusts. It picks up at times, and the rain is steadily coming down.
This storm approaches, and we are going to actually go live to Erica Jackson, who is at Siesta Key at the entrance of the North Bridge. Erica, what are conditions looking like out there this morning?
Good morning, Jacqueline. Right now, it looks like it's the wind is blowing a lot heavier than it was just about an hour ago when we got here, and it's starting to come down heavier than we got here about an hour ago. And as you can see behind me, there is a car from the Sarasota Police Office and also a car from the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office, and they are stopping drivers from getting onto the Key. And the reason is just to keep you safe. If you are a resident of the Key, you can get on, but make sure you have a form of identification, just showing your address. That could be a license, passport, any sort of utility bill, just something that has a proof of address so they can let you on safely. I was told there's been about a dozen people that have been trying to get onto the Key. There's been some good and bad examples of those trying and those of being able to get on. One of those, the police department was telling me that there was a man and he left his laptop after evacuating, so they did let him back onto the Key, but there were a couple people that were trying to get back on or just get on for the first time so they could see the beach and the waves going. They also, apparently there was a rumor about a pizza place being open earlier this evening, and those people were not allowed onto the Key because they're not residents. But just take note, if you are a resident on the Key and you want to leave, you can leave at any time, and this is all for your safety. So just a reminder, if you are a resident of the Key and you want to get back on, all you have to do is have a form of identification with you so you can get back on. And just if you aren't a resident of the Key, then they are going to turn you away. They're going to ask you to turn around. And this is the same also for the South Bridge. This is the North Bridge right here, and we'll bring you more throughout the morning. Back to you, Jacqueline.
All right, thank you so much, Erica. Stay safe out there. Now, I did drive through Siesta Key yesterday before I came into work, and I did see lots of boarded up restaurants, boarded up houses. So that area